And we're about 5 minutes from kickoff on this one with Hertha Berlin against Hansa Rostock from Bundesliga 2. We've got Hertha Berlin there as a odds-on favourite, 1.86. And the markets are expecting a lively one. We're expecting goals in this one, 1.6. So that is pretty good as well. So anyway, we are covering an awful lot of the scorelines, 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, 2-1, 3-0 and 3-1. And as you can see, we've got bigger profits on those higher scores. Okay, so anyway, just about to kick off. Let's see how it develops in play. Half time here, it's 2-0 to Hertha Berlin. So that is both good and bad for us, really. We've obviously missed out on taking any sort of action on the lower score lines like the 1-0 to Hertha Berlin. However, we're still in action. Okay, we've still got green on these score lines as it stands. And so we're going to anticipate that there's going to be more goals in this one. And we want to obviously try and put as much profit on those bigger score lines. That was the target for this one. So anyway, going to lay off this score line, the 2-0, put it down to 0. And it's going to lower our risk on the market, bump up the profits on those other score lines also. And we're going to see how the second half plays out. Now, we could also cash this out for close to 30% return. Okay, so just pointing that out just to show you that if you are someone who's interested in the correct score market, there's usually lots of opportunity to take profits. Okay, if you're not liking this scenario of Hertha Berlin being 2-0 up at half time and there's too many goals too soon, you could just take the profit and get out. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. Let's see how the second half develops. 61 minutes on the clock. Hertha Berlin have got a third goal. They're 3-0 up on Hansa Rostock. And for our trade, that is probably time to exit. Now, we've got £202 of green on that 3-0 scoreline. But we're only going to lock in around, well, the amounts you can see in. So around £35 of it. And you might be looking at that thinking, well, that's not right. We've hit that score. £200 of green on it, and that's all we can lock in. Well, in this case, that is about right, and that is because the goals that we were expecting in this match have just come too early. Okay, and the markets are anticipating that there's still going to be more goals. As you can see, any other home win is around evens, so that's what the markets are thinking at the moment, and is 3-0 is still the second favourite. So anyway, that trade on 3-0 as well, we backed it at 19 out at 3, and we're trading out that 3-1 as well. So anyway, that can happen when you're trading the correct score market. Sometimes you can get it almost too right. You can call it right like we did, but the goals just arrive too early. Ideally, you want to be hitting your final target score line later in the match, okay? After 70 minutes at least, the later the better. If you hit it early in the match, the markets are still going to expect more goals, and the green you can take out of the profits is going to be slightly limited. But anyway, I just want to explain that. It's not all bad news. We still made a profit, okay? You saw how the match developed. We lowered our risk down. Worst case scenario at one point was only an 80% risk, and we've gained, in the end, 35%, okay? So, yep, slightly different trade. And just a good example and something to look out for if you're trading the correct score market. If those goals arrive early, you might have to take a smaller profit. In some circumstances, you might even have to take a loss. But anyway, we've come out with a profit. It's 3-0 to Hertha Berlin, and that is it. And I do believe it did finish 4-0 to Hertha Berlin in the end on that one. But look, as you saw in that clip, there's not really much more to explain, which wasn't already well explained in the clip. But you saw what we did. We tried to push it, okay? It was 2-0 at half-time. We obviously put that 2-0 down to 0. We had a nice bit of green on the 3-0 to Hertha Berlin, and they just hit that score too early. So we did try and push it. If that was a 3-0 much later in the match, we're going to lock in a substantially bigger profit. But as it was, if you look closely at that clip, the profit that was available at half time, we kind of took a very similar profit, even though we tried to push for a higher one. So it didn't affect us that negatively. Okay, we actually ended up with a little bit more profit than was available at half time. But the bottom line is that an early exit is sometimes needed. And I did mention it just now as well. Sometimes you can get in these situations and actually have to take a loss because the goals have just flown in so quickly. And I do get a lot of emails about that with regards to people trading the correct score market. And it can be one of the big misunderstandings of trading the correct score market, thinking, well, if I cover 3-0 and 3-1, if they go 3-0 up, then I'm going to be cashing out lots and lots of profits. But if they're going 3-0 up early on in the game, well, the markets are always going to anticipate more goals, and it's not going to trade at a low enough price for you to lock in good potential profits. So you've got to keep that in mind. It's just one of the nuances of the correct score market. But anyway, we did what we could in that trade, and in the end, we still had a positive outcome. So it wasn't that bad in the end. And as said earlier, if any of this correct score trading looks interesting to you, you want to learn more about it, make sure you get this free download. It's the Correct Score Mastery course prospectus. This will show you how you could potentially take things to the next level with your correct score trading. To get this free ebook, the link is in the description of this video. Just scroll below the video, click on it, fill out the form, and then we'll email the book to you. If you're on a big screen, you can scan that QR code and then fill out the form, and we'll email you the book also. Okay, it's absolutely free, and it will be the next step towards potentially learning and mastering the correct score market. So if you've liked anything you've seen today and you do want to learn more about it, then that's the next thing to do. Okay, go grab a copy of that. As said, link in the description, or scan the QR code. And what you've just seen was actually just a clip, and we've got plenty more where that came on. So the video on the screen right about now should direct you to the full video where you can get more information, see more live trades, more analysis, how they played out, etc, etc. So go click on that video, and we will see you in that next video. It's highly recommended. Go check it out.